All of us came from a particular place. There was a kind of life that we used to live. And now things have changed and we've moved on. But there is still a past behind us. Well, for most of us, once we are gone out of the face of the earth, we will be an inspiration to the generation that will be there. When people will gather and they will say, if you want to be successful, be like so-and-so. Unfortunately, for the rest of us, we might turn out to be a warning to others, so that when the generation sits down, they will say, if you really want to do things differently, don't do it like so-and-so. I want to talk about the power of your past, the power of your past, because your past forms a very important roadmap so that you're able to always tell people your story. Because at the end of it all, you can tell people about the facts and figures, you can teach them, give them book knowledge, but what will always stand out that nobody else will ever share is your story. And your true story actually lies in your past. The other day I was sitting down with my family and we were talking about our past, and I sat down and I asked very critical questions regarding my family, my mother, my father. These are things that when we grow up and we have our own families, we sort of forget about them and we think, you know what, let's move on, let's forget about the past. But I've come to realize how important and how powerful our past is, because the more I asked questions and the more I received, I began to understand who I really was and the people who I was actually connected to. But at the same time, I got another angle to life, that mistakes that were done in the past actually were being felt at the present moment. That I cannot escape the reality of the mistakes I do now, because the future generation one day will sit down and will question what was done during my time. And so you're able to learn from your past, not only to know who you are, but you're able to look at the past and say, what if people were discussing my life in future? Then you say, I want to redefine the way I live my life, so that when my children, when my grandchildren are living, they will look back and say, we had a father, we had a grandfather who thought of us even before we were. I think, bottom line as I wind up, your past should be an encouragement or even a motivation that anytime you're doing something today, you must at all times do it and have the courage to look straight into the eyes of the future generation and tell them, by the time I was doing this thing, I had you in mind. That's my 2-minute sense.